I'm not a very good passenger. I don't like to be driven, certainly not by people I don't know and trust. I like to be at the wheel, to be in control. And the same goes for media interviews. If you want to get to your point, reach your interview destination, as it were, then you need to be in the driving seat. Let me explain. Interviews that go wrong for the interviewee are called road crash interviews for a reason. Think Newsnight and Prince Andrew. Who was at the wheel? Who was in control? Was it Prince Andrew or was it Emily Maitlis?
Why? Why were you staying with a convicted sex offender?
Right. I have always, ever since this has happened...
So to avoid being steered into saying something that you might later regret, that could even cost you your job, you need to be at the wheel, you need to be in the driving seat, and you need to check very carefully before turning left or right off the straight and narrow. Think of the questions as signposts. Some questions, like signposts, are best ignored. Follow them with an answer and very quickly you'll end up a long way from where you want to be. Lost, potentially. Think of these as questions heading in entirely the wrong direction. Deal with them as swiftly as you possibly can and then move on to what you want to say. Here's an example. I think if we get into the party politics of this, we're going to spend the rest of the interview going around in circles. I'd much rather stick to what's really important, and that is key message 1, key message 2, key message 3. On the other hand, some signposts can safely and should be followed. There are two types in this question comes signpost category. And at the risk of driving this metaphor into a wall, there are the big overhead gantry signs that are heading directly where you want to go via the shortest possible route. Questions you should answer because in doing so you'll say exactly what you want to say without any delay. Questions like, what is your point? What are the key issues here? And then there are signs that take the more picturesque route, the tourist trail as it were, but still end up where you want. Questions that, answered as briefly as time allows, keep the passengers, the audience, happy. No harm in a short diversion as long as you continue to your destination without too much delay. The knack here is to keep going once you've delivered your answer, rather than stopping the car, getting out and admiring the view. Let me give you an example. Yeah, that's a really, really good point. 2 and 2 do make 4, but I also think it's worth pointing out key message 1, key message 2, key message 3. I emphasize the word but there because but's a really good word that helps just subtly change the direction of an interview in your favor. The word and is pretty useful as well, another good 3-letter word. When you don't need that direction change, you raise a really good point, answer the question, and another point is key message X, key message Y, key message Z. Now, of course, the subject matter may be completely benign, what you want to say, uncontested. It may even be that the journalist has agreed in advance to a set of questions that you've been allowed to see. But a word of caution, even the most noble journalists will sometimes seek to take a diversionary route, to slip in an unexpected question, to perhaps try to get you to go somewhere where you really don't want to go. So, don't be an Andy, keep your hands on the wheel.